Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Improvement of the car power system is a constant process, but the evolution of such devices is accompanied by the complication of their design. And whatever their advantages, reliability is always correlated with this indicator. From this point of view, the carburetor was and remains the simplest, inexpensive, and quite reliable component of the power system, which still serves well on millions of domestic cars and foreign cars, although carburetor models are not produced for quite a long time. As an example, we can cite the Solex 21073 carburetor, which was installed on the VAZ Classic on front-wheel drive 8 and 9, and for some time, on the models of the 10th family. In this regard, the question of how to independently adjust this carburetor is still relevant, and this article is devoted to its detailed consideration. Device Solex 21073. The basic version of the carburetor was created by designers of the French company Solex. Later, Dimitrovgrad Auto Repair Plant acquired a license for its manufacture, and further improvement of the design was carried out by local specialists. One of the most popular models was Solex 21073, characterized by simple design, good reliability, and adjustability. This is an emulsion-type carburetor that forms air-fuel emulsion fed into the combustion chamber. It is used on vehicles equipped with a contactless ignition system, has a two-chamber design. Each of the chambers is equipped with metering mechanisms and a set of throttle valves, DZ. The first chamber contains the idling system, while transient systems are present in both chambers. Solex 21073 is designed as two solid blocks. The lower half contains most of the structural elements of the carburetor. The upper block mainly serves as the cover of the device. The lower part of both chambers is equipped with rotary flaps, which are controlled by a simple mechanical actuator. The primary chamber, PC, also contains a flap for supplying outside air. It is used only during the cold engine starting phase, and is driven by an actuator, which is connected by a cable to the choke handle, located in the cabin of the car. Solex 21073 together with all modifications consists of the following subsystems. Main metering systems, MDS, present in 2 copies. Float chamber, which regulates the fuel level in Solex by means of a double float. The design of the chamber is such that the gasoline level will be unchanged when the car is tilted, longitudinal, transverse. An idling system integrated with the primary chamber, crankcase gas evacuation system, XX economizer, a mechanism stopping the opening of the second chamber choke. 2 transition systems with different purpose and the same principle of operation. Gas pedal pump. Solex 21073 heating system. The economizer with electromagnetic valve, EMC, should be mentioned. Finally, one of the most important parts is the starting device, SD. Schematic diagram, principle of operation. When a cold power unit is started, the first to start is the starting device, which is controlled by the driver from the cabin of the car. If the suction handle is fully pulled out, the air flap in the PC is completely closed, and the air shutter is opened within the set starting gap. This clearance can be changed within small limits with the adjusting screw. The PC is a cavity connected to the intake manifold by a special channel with a diaphragm and through a rod with the air damper. When the driver starts the engine, a vacuum is formed in the intake manifold, which is transmitted to the diaphragm. As a result, the piston rod pushes the PC air damper, opening it by the amount of the starting clearance regulated by the PU screw. When the choke lever is pushed all the way back to the starting position, the starting clearances are minimized. In the intermediate position of the choke lever, the starting clearances depend solely on the lever design. It should be noted that when the choke lever is pulled out, the throttle valve of the secondary chamber is completely closed by means of the lever system. When the accelerator pedal is depressed, the second chamber does not participate in the formation of fuel-air mixture, FEM, so as not to provoke engine stalls. The Solex's idling system is designed to supply the engine with fuel-air mixture at minimum RPM. Gasoline is supplied to the XX chamber through the main fuel injector, passes through the XX injector, then forms a mixture with air. Coming from the XX air injector and the diffuser of the first chamber, or rather, its wide part. Read also, what is a carburetor and how it works? Such a design of this GAFA allows you to ensure a stable transition of the power unit to functioning in the KAHA mode. FBC moves through the hole, structurally located under the choke, into the primary chamber of the Solex. The channel, through which the combustible emulsion flows to the idling outlet, is blocked by the quality screw to a distance equal to the width of the stopper's gap, and this parameter can be adjusted. When the accelerator pedal is gently depressed, the primary chamber transition system begins to function by partially opening the throttle valve. As a result, an additional portion of fuel enters the channel through the resulting gap, and the mixture is enriched. Thus, the main purpose of the transition chamber is to provide a smooth transition from the idling mode during the vehicle starting, without allowing the engine to stall. The second chamber also has a transition chamber, the principle of operation of which is the same, but enrichment occurs during the transition from the medium speed mode to high speed. Its outlet opening has a larger diameter. When the driver presses the accelerator pedal sharply, the economizer helps to avoid failure of the power unit. The economizer draws additional fuel directly from the float chamber. The economizer is controlled by the vacuum generated in the intake manifold. When the damper is closed, the resolution increases and the diaphragm remains at rest. When the choke starts to open, the resolution drops, the diaphragm reacts, and actuates the spring acting on the ball valve that cuts off the fuel supply from the PLC. As a result, a portion of fuel is directed through the economizer jets to the emulsion well, enriching the air-fuel mixture without the main fuel jets. When the engine operates at speeds close to maximum, the engine constantly needs additional fuel, which is supplied by the second chamber economizer, also directly from the PLC. In addition to the economizer, the Solex 21073 gas pedal pump, AP, is involved in enriching the emulsion when accelerating the car. Its design includes a diaphragm, a rod in the form of a lever, and an atomizer. Mounted on the axis of the remote control cam when the accelerator pedal is recessed, and opening the remote control pushes the lever, acting on the diaphragm, contributing to the supply of the first chamber of the carburetor additional portion of fuel through the atomizer. CN is equipped with two check valves. One of them, located in the channel between the cavity of the gas pedal pump and PLK, triggers when the pump cavity is completely filled with gasoline, i.e. works on the principle of the syringe piston. The valve closes when the pump pumps gasoline into the atomizer, i.e. when the accelerator pedal is depressed. The second valve is located in the atomizer. It opens when the fuel is pumped in and closes when the fuel supply is stopped, thus avoiding air intake and fuel leakage. The performance of the CN depends solely on the cam configuration. The Solex 21073 idling system includes a solenoid valve, which is part of the forced idling economizer. This valve is designed to close off the idling channels in the primary chamber of the Solex. That is, it stops the gasoline supply when the engine is turned off. It is also triggered during engine braking, the so-called forced idling mode, to save fuel and to reduce the level of toxic exhaust of the car when the car is moving in this mode. The forced idling economizer consists of a control unit, the ECM itself, and a limit switch. When the driver turns the ignition key, the primary choke is in the closed state, with the quality screw together with the limit switch electrically shorted to the machine body. Turning the ignition switch induces a voltage to the EMC, at which point it operates to open the fuel injector of the CXC. When the engine starts to work at idle, voltage is applied to the EMC through the ECU. When the driver presses the accelerator pedal and the crankshaft RPM reaches the value of 2100, the circuit between the car body and the limit switch is broken, i.e., the power supply to the control unit stops. But the solenoid valve itself is still energized until the economizer limit switch is shorted to ground. Read also, for what is provided zero resistance filter in the forced idling mode, when there is an abrupt closing of the choke, the limit switch is also shorted to ground, as a result of which the solenoid valve remains without power and the needle cuts off the flow of fuel. When the crankshaft speed decreases to the level of 1950 revolutions per minute, the CU is switched on again, triggering the EMC. It opens the fuel injector. As a result, the emulsion supply from the idling system starts. How the carburetor is adjusted. According to most car owners, Solex 21073 is a fairly reliable carburetor model, but it is recommended to perform a fine-tuning procedure twice a year to optimize gasoline consumption and improve the performance of the power unit. The tuning work includes adjusting the quality of the TVS, the number of idle speeds, and the level of gasoline in the PLC. In case of works on the carburetor related to its calibration or troubleshooting, it is highly recommended to clean it from dirt with the air filter removed. Before starting work on adjusting the Solex 21073 carburetor, you need to put the gear lever in the neutral position, start the engine for 3 to 5 minutes so that the gasoline pump has time to pump fuel into the chamber. Then you need to turn off the ignition and disconnect the fuel hose, placing a container under it to prevent the remaining gasoline in the fuel line from pouring out. Then it is necessary to disconnect the cable controlling the air damper and unscrew the screws by which the upper part is attached to the body. When removing the cover, make sure not to hit the fasteners with the float and not to damage the gasket. When the cover is removed, you can start adjusting the Solex 21073 float. First, we measure the level with a caliper equipped with a depth gauge. You can also use a metal ruler. From the upper edge of the chamber to the liquid should be 2.4 to 2.5 centimeters. If this distance is more or less, it is necessary to correct the level by bending the float tongue where necessary. Then perform all operations in reverse order, start the engine again, fill the chamber with gasoline, and recheck the fuel level in the PC. Adjustment of the Solex XX is performed on a warmed power unit. Disassembly is performed as described above. Then with a flat screwdriver it is necessary to tighten the quality screw to the end, counterclockwise, since it has a left-hand thread. Then make exactly 5 turns clockwise, and start the engine. Suction should be removed. At the same time, the revolutions will be minimal, and the power unit will work unsteadily. Unscrew the quality screw another 1.5 turns. This should be enough for stable, without dips, functioning of the power unit. Adjustment of the number of revolutions in the domestic carburetor Solex 21073 to the recommended value is made by the quantity screw. It is not difficult. In addition to adjustment work, it may be necessary to clean the carburetor if, despite all your efforts, it continues to run unsteadily. At idle, or with a sharp increase in fuel consumption and other abnormal modes of operation of the engine. You can perform this operation without disassembling the Solex carburetor, using a special spray cleaner. Dismantle the air filter, closing access to the carburetor. Unscrew the solenoid valve. Process the cleaner with the holes of the air jets of the remote control valve, as well as both chambers of the carburetor. Inject the aerosol into the opening of the EMC. Spray the cleaner on the area of the lower part, where the primary chamber choke drive and the intake drive lever are located. Wait 3 to 5 minutes. Start the engine with the suction handle pulled out. Increase engine speed, and again inject the cleaner into the chambers. Into the holes of EMC and channels of metering systems. It is desirable to repeat this procedure several times. So, we have learned how to adjust the Solex carburetor, regardless of where it is installed, on the Niva, 7, or Classic. Such an adjustment allows you to stabilize the functioning of the engine in all modes, including idling, and to perform adjustments. Requires a minimum set of tools. In conclusion, adjusting the Solex 21073 carburetor is essential for optimizing engine performance and fuel efficiency. By understanding the key features, such as the idle speed adjustment, mixture control, and float level settings, you can ensure your carburetor operates smoothly. Regular maintenance and fine-tuning can lead to improved throttle response and overall driving experience. Remember, a well-adjusted carburetor not only enhances performance, but also contributes to the longevity of your engine. Thank you for watching, and we hope this guide helps you in your tuning endeavors.